All right, today is January 4th, 2018, and I'm going to go back to 12 years ago when I decided to get breast implants. I had a deep obsession with having bigger breasts, and I'm going to go even back and even further to why I had this deep obsession. It started probably around 11, 12 in school when not all, but most of my friends were starting to get breasts and you were starting to get noticed by boys and our bodies were changing. Well, everyone around me, everyone else's body seemed to be changing, but not mine. I was still a little girl. And although I was never bullied, I was always very popular, I was teased. Just teased. Like little rhymes and jokes. Why is your chest as flat as your back? And although I brushed them off, they obviously resonated and really impacted my life and how I felt about myself from a very young age. I was insecure. I was insecure about my body. I was insecure what other people thought about me, and I cared a lot. I have always been the type to care a lot about what I look like, or what I did look like, or how I look. And watching all of my friends get attention for their bodies changing into a woman or starting their period and growing boobs, I was envious, extremely envious that that wasn't happening for me. Then you fast forward to high school and ninth grade, I was still a little girl. My body still looked like a little girl. And by that time, everyone had already started their period and I had not. And I remember carrying tampons around in my backpack just for pretend because I wanted to fit in. And now looking back, it seems so silly. I would do anything not to have a period now. But back then it was everything. I wanted to be like everybody else and I didn't want to be different. And I was not only, my body wasn't changing, I was very small for my age. So I was what you call a late bloomer, an extremely late bloomer. My background is Japanese, African American, and white, and I would say growing up I took after my Japanese Asian side. I was small, very petite, and late developer. It wasn't till I was 17 that I finally started my period. I was the last of anyone I ever known. And up until that point, I was only 4'11". My height was only 4'11". So I was extremely small as a comparison to now, which I'm 5'7". So from 17 on, I grew a lot of inches. When I finally started my period at 17, I still didn't even have any boobs, not even the beginning of stages of boobs. I just had nipple like a little girl. It wasn't till 18 where I started growing my own breasts. But at that point, I was so deep in obsession of having boobs and how I was going to get them and feed that void and get that attention that I always yearned for, of feeling like a woman or feeling sexy, that I was still developing when I decided to get breast implants at the age of 18. I had just started growing boobs months before, and I already had an appointment booked, and there was no telling me any different because that's what I was going to do, and I did it. So I got breast implants when I turned 18 years old. I researched and found a surgeon, and I got them put in. That surgery was very hard because I was so small chested and I wanted big boobs. Where I came from, and that was it. It was just like, I'm getting big boobs, and that's it. So I didn't pick a size that was right for my body, and the doctor was wrong because he didn't give me a size that was right for my body. I got double D's. I wanted big boobs, and that's what he gave me. So I got what I asked for, but I wish someone would have given me the information of maybe they're too big for your body, maybe they're going to cause pain, maybe this isn't the right decision, but nobody did. Fast forward to 2 years later, my one breast was bigger than my other, and it was significantly bigger than the other, and I think it was probably because my natural breasts were still developing, and so naturally one was probably growing larger and one was staying smaller. I'm not 100% sure, but it made me uncomfortable. And also when I laid down flat on my back, they were so large that they would go to the sides as opposed to staying in front. And I wanted that like perky, fake breast look. I didn't want a natural breast look. So I went back to the same doctor when I was 22, right when I turned 22, and I wanted to get them fixed. I wanted the bigger one made smaller, and I wanted them to sit flat on the front of my chest. So he wasn't just going to replace the one, he decided to replace both, so I wouldn't have one older implant and one newer, which makes sense. And I went through another surgery. That surgery was even harder. I woke up from that surgery and I immediately couldn't open my mouth. I had lockjaw from the tube that was down my throat during the surgery. And I had lockjaw for a good 3 weeks. And since then, my jaw has never been the same. Every time I open my mouth, it cracks on the right side. And it's sore a lot. So that was a big bummer. But my boobs were what I wanted. They were great. And I loved them. And I finally felt like a woman and sexy. And I used that kind of like back then, like of all the people that teased me about being flat chested, and now look at me now. But looking back on it, the only reason I got breasts was because of an insecurity. I didn't love myself. I didn't love my body. I didn't accept, but who does at the age of 18? I feel like it's something with life you grow to learn. Some people do, some people never do. But I have grown to start accepting things that I didn't before, and not caring as much what other people think.